Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to the Art House. All right, so we're going to start with a few announcements, and then we're going to check in on some recent interesting eBay sales. Yet again, some interesting buy-sell activity going on in Sorcery on the interwebs. But I want to announce a few things, right? So like on the weekends, I usually have a little more time than during the work week, and I like to try to plan some special events and activities. It's usually when I do some recording, sometimes throughout the week, and then, some special events and things. So I'm waiting for confirmation, but I think we're going to be doing a live on this channel, at the Collector Arthouse channel, and also the Sorcery Contested Realm Community Facebook group. So it multicasts to both places at the same time. And then after the live event is done, it gets automatically posted to the community group and to the Collector Arthouse YouTube channel. So here's the thumbnail for it. I'm waiting for Sophie from Cardboard Guide to confirm this, right? So it's going to be me and her, maybe her husband Jens, I think is his name. So they have a great channel called Cardboard Guide, and they do some cool like news reports covering Sorcery TCG. They've done several of those. I think they cover a lot of other TCGs. They're, it's a gaming family, so pretty cool. Yeah, hopefully we'll get that worked out, and we'll get that confirmed on Friday, and then I'll officially post the feed to the Facebook group, and then also you'll see it pop up here in the Collector Arthouse channel. So just make sure you hit the notification bell and see when that's going to kick off this Saturday based on different time zones and things like that. All right, so that's one thing. The other thing, let's go to the Sorcery Contested Realm Facebook group, right? All right, so on the Facebook group, some interesting recent postings. This is the largest current Facebook group. We have about 1,500 members. And on that point, a few days ago, we finally officially hit 1,500. So I created this cool little graphic here. It's like a montage of all this epic sorcery artwork. So we have the 4 elemental avatars, and then across the top and bottom, we have several art pieces by many of the great artists of sorcery. I tried to pick like one from each different artist. I couldn't get them all because there's like 35-ish artists in Alpha. But, it's a nice representative example of the iconic, some people say iconic, the game's not even out, but it looks iconic. It's epic looking, all right, if that's a better word. All right, so there's a little montage celebrating 1,500, and hopefully we'll see tremendous growth after release. I did another video on the pre-con sale a few days ago, various things, right? And then I wanted to go and show a special collaboration I'm doing. You're looking at it here, but I actually have another image. If I go to my page, I posted about this recently, right? All right, so here's several images. So let me start with this one. So one of the artists that I work with in Sorcery is Severin Pignot, French artist. Amazing, incredible, very talented artist that did the Philosopher's Stone, which you see peeking out of the printer here. And she did Predestination, which is now called the Kythera Mechanism, which is based on the anti-Kythera mechanism. And there's a lot of real-life historical, not lore, but like some historical meaning to that you can go and research. So we did a hand-embellished print collaboration before on the Philosopher's Stone, and that's what this image is from. So coming out of the printer, what she does is she prints the piece of artwork with the Philosopher's Stone that you typically see in the middle here, digitally removed. And then in the first series, we did a series of 10 hand-embellished prints where she completely repainted the stone itself. And now in this series, now that we know that Predestination is going to be called the Kythera Mechanism, we talked about doing a cool concept where it kind of, I like doing these crossover concepts, right, with several of the artists. And in this case, we're taking Philo Stone and the Kythera Mechanism, and the stone is going to be replaced with this galactic stone, which symbolizes the real-life use case in historical archives about how the Kythera mechanism, the anti-Kythera mechanism technically is what it was called, how that was used many moons ago in historic Greek culture to use it as a navigational device using the orientation of the planets and those types of things. So we said, what if we do something similar, a series of 10, digitally remove the stone, and then entirely hand paint this galactic stone to kind of show the symbology of the alchemist's pursuit Typically, the Philosopher's Stone is the alchemist's pursuit for eternal life and wealth and that type of thing. So in this twist or crossover concept, it is blending with the Kythera mechanism as kind of like a galactic navigational aid. All right, so I'm going to scroll through these images, and we'll see some close-ups of the stone. This was the proof of concept that she did. All right, so a couple items here. It's going to be in acrylic paints, and I think she said she used colored pens, I believe, and gold paint, right, to have the accents here that you see on the stone, which when we look at the zoomed out view, first I have, all right, so here's the Philosopher's Stone, right? And typically you'd have the, if you go to the Collector Arthouse website, for example, you can see the original Philosopher's Stone. This is what the Galactic Kythera Stone, as we call it, is going to be, right? And there'll be 10 copies of that. Orders are prioritized first for Patreon members that support the Collector Arthouse network and my efforts. So I think maybe right away, like half of them or so were claimed, and they have till tomorrow to respond. And then after that point, I will open it up to the Collector Arthouse Discord community. We have about 430 some members in that community currently, and then I'll open it up to the Facebook community group until we fill the orders for the 10. And then if there is demand beyond the 10, we're also considering doing a print of this particular item. It'll be a regular print, so to speak, so not hand embellished, but it will have Severin's signature and, you know, like a date, at least the year, possibly month and year, all right, commemorating when it was done. And here's a zoom in of the stone. So really beautiful, and when she uses that gold paint, it's very beautiful and reflective off of the stone. We saw that in we also did a series of hand embellished elemental avatar prints, which were absolutely gorgeous. Severin's an incredible talent. But anyway, let's get into some recent sales history. All right, so I'm going to shut down the Facebook. We'll go to 130 points, right? So this is where you go. You go to search eBay sales, and we're going to want to look at the historical sales for Sorcery Contested Realm, right? All right, so you just type that in, you hit search, takes a minute to load up, and today is April 13th. Actually, okay, so there was a sale just today of another pre-constructed deck. I just did a video recently where a pre-constructed deck sold for $630, which is a phenomenal figure. I mean, it's like almost double, maybe double on average of what the booster boxes are currently selling for. And you can kind of see now that kind of settled down a little bit. So $349.99, that's still a tremendous premium because this kit was about $50, as I recall, from the Kickstarter campaign. So, you know, a 7-fold increase before it's even available is insane. This is a pre-sale that's going to be fulfilled with the Kickstarter, alpha Kickstarter fulfillment, right? All right, so that's the first listing. And the next one, if we go to, you have an alpha booster box, also $349.99. So people are paying, I guess, the same amount at this point for a booster box as a pre-constructed deck set. Interesting, right? Another alpha booster box sale, $379.95. I'm going to skip over to sample cards and come back to that because I want to spend a little time on sample cards as well. And in fact, we're going to have some auctions for some sample cards coming this weekend. So I'll get back to that point. All right, so looking at the alpha booster box, another one, $299.99. This is the past few days. You see April 12th. And then we have a case. All right, so a case of booster boxes sold for $25.50. That's a bit of a premium because that's 6 cases or 6 boxes in a case. You're talking over $400 a box on that sale, which is a little interesting. You know, it's also funny. It says 5/15. That's not a pre-order 5/15. That's not a confirmed date. I mean, they haven't confirmed when that's going to be delivered. So that's an odd listing for one. But nevertheless, like this isn't like in Flesh and Blood and stuff. They had hit rates based on the case in early days. I don't know if that's still the case or not, but that is not confirmed nor believed to be true for Sorcery. They've only talked about the pull rates for non-foil uniques and foils being like uniques. I believe, if I remember correctly, for non-foil uniques are 1 out of 4 packs and the foils are 1 out of 5. Something like that on that order, right? So it's on a per pack basis. It's not on a per box, and it's not on a per case basis. Obviously, you can extrapolate to that, but it's not like you can cherry pick and like you get the best like curio. We don't even know the pull rates at all of curios, or the best like unique foil, and then you're not going to get it in the rest of the boxes in the case. That's not necessarily true, right? So a case premium is kind of interesting. And then you have some boxes at $350. Another pre-constructed deck, $336.99, so a bit of an odd number. Another one a few days ago, $332.45. All right, so you get the idea. You got booster boxes at around $350. Pre-con kits, pre-constructed deck kits settled at about $350 also, so it's at parity. You know, pre-constructed decks with the same cards inside. Yeah, again, like the non-foil elemental avatars are exclusive to the pre-con decks, but you can find them in foil variant in the booster boxes. All right, so that's a nuance. A couple other subtleties, but other than that, you do get one pack in there, so you do have some wild card variability in the one pack. But it's pretty interesting that it's equal to a booster box. All right, so coming back up, what I found really interesting, and what prompted me to make this video, is some sample card listings. So the first one here, you got the Wicker Mannequin. All right, and let's click on that. Scroll down to the listing, going back up to the image. All right, so this sold for, going back, it was listed for $4.99. It sold for $4.50, and that's why you have to go to 130point.com to get that data, right? All right, so scrolling down, this is an exceptional relic monster of eternal hunger. So it's an exceptional. That's a nice price for an exceptional. I mean, I've run many auctions. I covered this in a few videos ago. I do a newsletter for Patreons with all my prior sales, but it's also all discoverable on the community page. I've done all my auctions from the Sorcery Contested Realm community Facebook group page. So you can just scroll through the listing archive and go and find all those sales. And there was like many of them. I did marathons like for months on end every single day. And at this point, that's a pretty compelling price. I mean, that shows that the valuation, of course, this is a small sample size, right? So it could have just been one lunatic that loves Drew Tucker. I mean, you're not crazy for loving Drew Tucker, but he's paying a hell of a price for an exceptional before release here. So as a reminder, there's going to be 244 more packs coming from the Alpha Kickstarter fulfillment across the top few premium tiers from the Alpha Kickstarter, right? So 244 more packs. Each of those packs, you're going to have one elite or a unique, and you're also going to have 3 exceptional cards, right? So the exceptionals are still pretty rare, 244 times 3, whatever that is. And then you're going to have just one elite or unique from each pack. So 244 packs. There's only 244 more coming in total, elite plus unique. So the elite and unique are super rare, and you know the scarcity has been driving a premium on those. All right, so that was an exceptional, $450. Then I see some of the ordinaries, and this is pretty interesting. $400 for the Wall of Fire, and Germantown, Maryland. So it's in the U.S. It sold for $400. Listed for $400. Someone has scooped it up, paid the price for an ordinary. I have a listing on the Facebook Marketplace where you can go, and let's go to the Sorcery Contested Realm Marketplace Buy Sell Trade Group. This is a group that I established with a few other guys just a few weeks ago. 366 members already, so that's tremendous. There's a lot of interest. And if you scroll down here, there's a listing here of several sample cards, $200 plus shipping for ordinaries, right? So it's interesting. It's like some of these guys, you know, they don't use social media. They just go to eBay and they just pay whatever. I mean, it looks like they are pretty rare, but there's not a lot of listings for them on eBay. And I guess, you're not on Facebook, you're not in the community group, you're not in the Discord, the Collector Arthouse Discord where I run those auctions. You're missing that price history. Or, you know, now you could watch these videos and you don't have to be on social media if you don't like social media. All right, so that's the ordinary Wall of Fire. And then there was one more that sold on April 9th, and this was beautiful artwork, awesome card. This is from Bellevue, Washington, and you have the Ice Lance from, and I remember selling at least one of these, maybe 2 of the Ice Lance by Brian Smith. Yeah, that's another strong sale, guys. That's another exceptional. So there you go. You got another data point that is sold for $449, right? Listed for $449, sold for $449. You got an ordinary just beneath that, $400, and then you have the other exceptional, $450. So, you know, I did a 2-pack break so far of a sealed. We did a sealed art pack and a sealed silver pack. And if you don't know what that means, I do have a video on the channel that's called like the Comprehensive Guide to Sample Cards, I believe. And it's I don't know, 20 or 30-minute video. It goes through all the history of sample cards, the provenance, the quantities, the rarity, all that kind of stuff. You should check it out if you're new to the game, new to the channel. It'll tell you, give you some insight into why there's a premium for these and why they're a coveted collectible based on their historical significance and rarity. So, you know, it's a desirable product to collectors and rarity chasers, you know. So that's interesting. I'm going to be doing I plan to do several more sample pack breaks on the channel after release. And, you know, I've secured some of those myself. I do community consignment as well, so I'm sure folks will want to do that. So again, you know, I typically put a call out to patron supporters for starters for priority to claim a few slots or whatever, and then I open it up typically to the Discord and or the Facebook community group around the same time, thereabouts. Sometimes I give the Discord folks a heads up because that's a nice active community where we talk sorcery all the time, every day. Bunch of great guys and gals. So, you know, join the community groups. I got the link tree in the description of every video. You can go join the many Collector Arthouse platforms. There's a lot of them at this point. I actually stood up a podcast recently too. It's called Sorcery Contested Realm by Collector Arthouse. And we got a couple of my live events. I did one with Bronson, who's a content creator, predominantly for Flesh and Blood, but he put out a video making some interesting points about sample cards. So I was like, hey man, come on the channel and we'll talk about it. And we had a great discussion. And Zach Bunn from Team Covenant had a great, that's a great interview. You guys should definitely go check that out on the podcast. I think I listed those on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and Spotify. They seem to be like the big three, at least that I'm aware of. So you can go check that out. And, you know, I got an Instagram where I'm loading up short videos. I've shown a lot of sample cards on the channel. Alpha Precon reveals. It looks like I will probably be getting a booster box. Hopefully, you know, timing works out. And yeah, I got a special event planned on that with some... I don't want to leak it. I want it to be a surprise. I'm going to tease it a little bit. I'm going to have some special guests of some kind. I'll say that much. So you're definitely going to want to subscribe to the channel. Just hit the notification thing. I'll get the word out across the platform. Certainly on Collector Arthouse Discord, I'll probably make a video talking about it to announce the date that will happen. And yeah, certainly on the Sorcery Contested Realm Facebook community group as well. So I guess that's it, guys. Some interesting sales. Some real heat on Sorcery. We got some big time booster box sales, alpha pre-constructed deck sales, sample card sales. I mean, all the regular stuff, all the premium stuff. It's going to be wild to see, like, maybe if anyone wants to sell their uncut sheets, whether those be the non-foils or the foils. The foils were only in the top 4 pledge tiers, so those are exceptionally rare. I mean, there's only 4 sets of them, so that's pretty crazy. I don't know if anyone's going to be selling those. Yeah, there's original art. I got a couple original art pieces that I'm going to be auctioning for consignment in a relatively near future. And some other goodies on the way that I'm going to be revealing on the channel by way of original art and some really awesome stuff. So definitely stay tuned, guys. If you're into the art, if you're into the history of the game, this is the place. I appreciate your interest and attention. The community group, 1,500 members, amazing. This YouTube channel I set up, I don't know, 9 months ago. I started like getting into it, slow rolling it a little bit, and then ramped up a little bit in recent weeks. We have over 500 subscribers now. You know, still a small timer, but pretty good growth. So I'm glad it's resonating with people and you guys value the information. Really appreciate that. And that's it for this time. All right, so stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be having that live 2 days from now on Saturday with Cardboard Guide. Great couple that's into cards, gaming family. So that should be a fun and interesting conversation. And yeah, Alpha's here soon. And then it's going to get wild. You're going to see box breaks. You're going to see the big reveal event. Big things ahead. Real exciting times. Thanks for tuning in. See ya.